Welcome to the Finding Happiness podcast, where we talk about business, marketing, and personal growth. I am your host, Bobby. Today we have a special guest in the studio, Reggie from Iron Jungle Training Facility out here in the Antelope Valley, California. Actually, he's in Quartzhill, right off of Avenue M and 50th West, for those of you that are located out here. But not only is he in the fitness space where he's helping individuals become better human beings, but he's also in the real estate and financial industry. And what we were talking about off camera is entrepreneurship. I mean, that's the true definition of entrepreneurship. So how did you say it?
Well, I think for me it was finding happiness, like your podcast says, but also freedom, right?
That's what you said earlier, freedom.
Yeah, freedom. And not to sound like a cliche, right? But my family's fresh off the block from New Orleans, and it's like, I mean, I guess for lack of a better word, slavery wasn't that far past in my family. My grandmother grew up on a plantation.
Oh, shit.
So freedom is dear to my heart, and I felt like when I first got into the financial business, I've been a real estate broker for, I think I was 26. I mean, I've been doing real estate for over 23 years. But, I became a broker very young in life. And the goal was never necessarily to make a whole lot of money like everyone talks about. I just wanted freedom, Like I punched the clock for a long time, but I haven't punched the clock. So my second oldest daughter will be 21 this month. And
there you go.
I think the last time I punched the clock was when she was just about 2 years old.
Dang, so there you go. So that's entrepreneurship, is freedom. Freedom, not
correct.
to be in another business, but freedom from everything.
Freedom in general, right? And I think that's where we go wrong. Is like people don't realize like how many things that we do chasing things enslaves us, Like, so a lot of people want to do a lot of business, make a lot of money, but then you end up becoming a slave as well. And I guess that's like the caveat, right? Like no one wants to talk about that part of it. They're just like, I don't work for Mike anymore and I'm making all this money. Oh yeah, I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm doing this and da-da-da, and I have to do this by this time and da-da-da. Like, sounds like you're working harder than when you work for Mike.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just ask Mike for a raise.
It might have been, let's say, you might have been easier. Yeah, you wouldn't have got the money, but that so-called money is you're exchanging it for pretty much to be enslaved to, whether it's the money or the business owner life, to be able to say, well, it's my business. I got to grind 24/7. I say that shit. Damn it.
Yeah, man.
I was starting to, all right. That sounds like me.
And I feel like that's the deal, right? Like, and that's why I thought your podcast is so great, because nobody talks about the things we're trying to talk about here, right?
Yes.
And it's like, it becomes so redundant to watch all these people talking about themselves and their business and their accomplishments online. But if you really pay attention to their timelines and everything that they do, it's all enslaving. You know what I mean? It's like you don't hear anybody, like every now and again, if somebody calls me, say at like 10 o'clock, I like to pretend like I'm sleeping.
Hello? Yeah.
Hey, man, you still sleep? Yeah, what's up? And then we get on talking about business, but I rarely correct them. Like, no, I'm not sleeping, but, it's just a point, like, I could be sleeping if I chose to be sleeping.
Because you're not enslaved to...
Exactly.
Oh, well, the mindset says, nowadays the mindset says you have to be up, and I'm going through that right now. Be up, gym, everything done by a certain time. And it's like, holy shit, I just followed another routine that enslaved me supposedly to the better life, but it's really just pushing me to something. I'm enslaved to something else.
And what's wild to me, man, it's like when you see these posts and someone's like, 4 a.m., got it done. And I'm like, I don't know what the world looks like at 4 a.m.
And what did you have to get done at 4 a.m.?
The sky could be purple. I miss it, right? Aliens could literally be here at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Crickets and shit, dude. Weirdos are walking around at 4 a.m. and I don't even like to be in the house awake by myself at 4 a.m. I don't know. Yeah, and that's not because I'm not common. It's just like you hear shit, dude. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so I went through a period. I've been in this business thing for a long time, so I went through a period of life where I was about capitalizing on the time. So for a while there, I'd wake up, like 4-ish. I'd drive to Venice, kind of watch the sunrise and drive back home just to prove like how much time we were wasting, right? So I experienced that, right? It's like all these things that everyone's talking about, like I did it already. You know what I
And it
mean?
wasn't.
Yeah, and it's like I worked 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day, and ran very successful companies. And I've done everything that I've wanted to do, right? Like good old fashioned. Like I've traveled to hell and back, and if anything else, like I could talk about the journey, but there's parts about the journey that weren't any good, you
Yeah,
know.
it's not the part that people like to talk about, or
Yeah, like so nowadays, it's like I have 5 children, and one thing that I can say is that I've been a part of their life, Like I felt like earlier in my career, I was just trying to grind and like, I'll be there when I'm told to be there. Versus, I did career day at my son's school last year,
how that feel.
It was different, man. It was like first it was like, how long do you want me to be here?
Yeah,
What?
you're
I'm
like,
like,
wait, what?
man, that's a whole day. It's literally was a whole day, like the whole school day. They wanted you there at 7 o'clock in the morning when the kids get there, and it was different, But I originally went to school to be a teacher, so it wasn't so far fetched. And and being a business owner, I've had a lot of employees over the years, so it's the same as having
That's pretty
teenagers
cool.
too.
But that's cool but to have that choice or have that opportunity to show up for the whole entire day because you.
And that was one of the points that I talked about. I talked about, well, the fact that, I am self employed is the fact that I can be here and spend time talking to you guys today. Like a lot of these other people that are here, they had to ask their boss for permission or use PTO or the
Or
boss.
didn't go or
Yeah.
couldn't go,
Or just, yeah, flat out, just like couldn't go.
because I can only imagine if, because you got to remember for that employee, or you have your kids need you, but then you have your boss need you, right? And it's which one am I supposed to choose?
Yeah.
No one can ever tell you that part. It's just whatever situation that's going to take the less of a hit. Yeah. Like, sorry, I'm sick today. I'm going to my kids.
Yeah,
Just don't post
like,
nothing on social media.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
get me
don't
caught
don't
up.
don't tag me.
Don't tag me in
Yeah.
shit, I'm sick with. Yeah.
But like, the age old saying, right? You can't serve two masters.
Yeah.
you know, and I think sometimes we fall short of that, right? But then, like I said to you the other day, it's all about who holds the microphone of influence in your life, right? So, like, are you modeling after somebody who, A, maybe isn't married, B, has no children? Like, why are you thinking that what they do is something that you should model after,
Yeah,
Like at the end of
absolutely.
the day, like I feel like you should deal with like-minded people, and that also means that if you're married and you have children, like you need to do business with people that are married and have children, because I think that it keeps the expectations in perspective.
Ooh, you hear that? Because that's where it comes into, oh, do I have to be here or at my kid's thing? The
Yeah,
one that has the kids and stuff, they already,
they
they
understand.
know, they understand everything. It's
Correct.
not like, no, because they're gonna be like, dude, that shit can wait. Like,
Yeah,
go
exactly.
enjoy
No,
it.
say it again.
Yeah,
That shit can wait
yeah,
because let's just say like as a lender, right? Like so I've been lender and you're subject to like having to, basically do business the way you people that you do business with
okay.
do business, right? So like if you're dealing with somebody who's single, no responsibilities, you're like, I'm up at 5 a.m. at 4 a.m. Where are you at? And I need this pre-call at 4:35 a.m. And I was like, well, maybe I just fell asleep because my kid was up all night.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like, I mean, something as silly as like last night, my son, he was getting excited to go. He's starting 8th grade. And we're up last night figuring out what laces to put in his shoes.
Because that's more important because that carries on to the future, not the pre-qual or the pre-approved, because literally that can wait.
Correct.
You're not going to even send it to them until 6, 7, 8 hours.
Yeah.
We're in the whole photography space, and I get this all the time with the agents. The next day, oh, where they at, man? I'm like, hold on, because I said, when are you planning on uploading them? Oh, well, not to. Okay, well, cool. We still got time. I'll get them over.
Correct.
It's we start to figure out, okay, and it's the relationship and who you're working with so they understand now. But yeah, you nailed it right there.
And you know what it is, unfortunately, when you're in the service business? Like, everybody, probably all your clientele are all self-employed, right?
Yeah.
And they want to preach about being self-employed, but they want you to be a slave to them,
Yes.
right? Instead of just
Ooh.
respecting what they said, right? Like if you said, hey, Wednesday's cool. Is there a particular time, right? Because here it is, you're doing business because you want their business. You want to earn their business. You want to keep their business, right? But it's just like when people feel like they're paying, they feel like they can send you through whatever, right? Not respecting the fact that you have to have multiple clientels. Why? To hit that price point that they want, right?
Yeah, so they
Because you're
don't.
like, I could just work for you there, boss, but I'm gonna need to charge you like 7 times the amount.
Yeah, they're like, I got you. Now I'll hit you on the normal rate. But it goes back to what we're talking about, that confidence. On are they running you, or
Yeah.
do they feel like you're equal?
And that's what it boils down to, because if we're all self-employed, no matter what facet of business that we do, we should all be on an even playing field.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, when dealing with humans and lack a lot of humility, they start thinking about how many deals you do versus they do, how much money
Deals.
they make versus you make, right? And they're going to deal with you on that level.
Yeah, and then when you come to find out, most of the people that have all those deals, you don't even work with them. You won't even touch them, and you end up
And-
talking about them later on. But yeah, it's just.
And they don't
Let me move
realize
this on the side real quick here.
good old-fashioned smoke and mirrors, right?
Yeah.
And what they don't realize is sometimes, like, as a self-employed business person, you have to come to terms with who you want to do business with, who's going to send you through the lease. And I mean by the lease is because if you need to be able to stack your clients, you have to realize who's going to be less demanding so that you can service everyone, right?
There you go.
And the person making the most noise isn't necessarily the one you do want to do business with. It's like good old-fashioned, like, what wheel gets the oil, right? The one that
There you
squeals the
go.
loudest, right?
Yeah, the one that squeaks the loudest.
Yeah.
So all of this is in you're thinking like this. All of this is kind of going on. You have the training facility.
Correct.
You deal with a lot of business owners, agents, anyone that wants to take that next step, I guess. What type of men do you see come in there? Are they coming in there because they're ready to take that on, or they're coming in like kind of dragging ass because they know because of problems, or they're running from problems? What do you kind of see based off of just at your facility?
Well, I would say it's kind of a plethora when it comes to who you're dealing with, right? But I'll say this, like, well, being a private gym, we have particular clientele because they need to be able to afford us, right? But I would say a lot of times, you'll get people that just literally are ready to invest in themselves, right? And that's what some people don't want to say because, excuse me, it's all about investing in yourself, and for whatever reason, fitness industry is like the DIY of everything,
Yeah.
right? You got the runner, you got the you got the jogger, you got the cyclist, you got the mountain climber, you got the weightlifter, you got the the swimmer. People do triathlons, blah 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 blah, right? But a lot of these things, like, it's very rare for a lot of people who do these things to have any type of athletic background, right? Because if they did, they knew that there's certain things that have to take place, right? My favorite reference line is La Primera, right? And just because I'm always trying to talk about foundation, right? Like if you have a fitness background or athletic background, you need a certain amount of sleep. You need a certain amount of food in order to grow. But like if you've never gone through that in life, like if you've never gone through a painful, a journey, if you will, like, oh man, I want to get stronger or I want to get faster. I have to rest. I have to eat. Like if you're just one of these guys that like read an ebook.
Yeah, just read a quick ebook
Right,
or a
this is a lot of these
motivational
things,
quote.
right? Like, or they went to a class over the weekend. I mean, I was, I don't know who, James Ramsey. Or something. Right? Like, hey, Dave runs. Babe, I need to run. Like, you can't run. You got 2 left feet. Well, Dave said I got to run. Right? So these guys, first thing they do, they get out here and they try to run. They figure, oh, I really can't run or I'm too tired. So then they take caffeine and then take more caffeine. So then they start doing all these things, but they don't realize, like, you can get I guess the best way to put it is, I had to have a repair done on one of my cars. And I was different types of car, and different type of cars mean different type of dealerships, right?
Yes.
So some dealerships are going to give you a car, make sure the tank is full. Some dealerships are going to give you a car, you work it out.
Yep.
You right? So ironically, I had to have one of my car service, and I just wanted to see the difference. I get in the car, and I tell my wife, I said, I bet you $5 that there's no gas in this car. Based on the dealership we're at, right? And sure enough, it was like less than a quarter tank of gas in the car, But that also when it was time for me to return it, I'm like, I am not returning this car with more than a
It was more than shit. You didn't get my money,
right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not, but like had it been another company or like I haven't rented a car in a very long time, but they always make sure that the tanks are full because they need to monitor the gas, But just to stay on topic, there's fuel that's needed, right? So like if you start off and your tank is empty, you're not going to get far,
No.
right? So if you understood these things, then you understand like if I'm going to take a journey, I need to make sure my tank is full, right? And I would say from a foundational perspective, that's what we try to make sure people understand. Like if you're going to embark on a journey, we need to make sure you're resting, we need to make sure you're eating, we need to make sure you're flexible, and then you're powerful, right? Because everything that you do all contributes back to the amount of output force, right? Like if you're going to jump, if you're going to run, right? It's about how much force your body can produce.
Gotcha.
But nobody wants to lift weights, right?
No.
I had an engineer like hurt his knee one time, right? And he came in, I trained his buddy, and I worked on his knee, and then I started training him for a little while. And one day we were squatting, and he was struggling to squat the 45 plates. And everyone knows, like I'm trying to get away from using profanity, but I talk a lot of trash. Right?
Yeah, what the fuck? Come on.
Yeah, and as kids are getting older, like I don't want my kids to watch you on a podcast and just cussing.
Yeah.
I want people to be able to play these things in their car with their children because we have a message for everybody.
Absolutely.
Right. So like I'm trying, right? Even though I feel like it's how we kind of really express ourselves, right? But we're smart enough to stop doing that, right? But that being said, is we were squatting and I said, hey man, you're squatting struggling with the 45 plates? He's like, yeah, my knee and blah blah blah. It's like, hey dude, you can't even like break parallel. And I said, put the bar down for a second. I said, you're an engineer, right? Okay, let's talk about this in your wheelhouse.
There you go. You're going to break it down so he can understand it.
How much do you weigh? And let's just say, it's been a couple of years, but let's just say he was like 190 pounds and he couldn't squat 135 pounds properly. And I said, and how did you hurt yourself again? Trying to slam dunk a basketball? I said, when you go to work tomorrow, I want you to write me a diagram of how your body weight and the fact that you don't have enough muscle to squat 135 pounds, how you were supposed to jump off the ground and dunk.
So why are you even dunking?
Why would you even try that?
If you can't, even squat.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like knowing
I'm
yourself.
a little rusty, right? To like, good old fashioned, mass production there,
No, that was.
But force, right? So I guess that's that'd be physics, right? But the point that I'm making is that I have athletes that have been training for a long time that I'll put them up to test, right? Like the other day we were doing my daughter, she's I guess the best way to work it, she competes on a world level when it comes to powerlifting, so she's strong.
Okay.
So I'll give her random tasks sometimes. Hey, go see how fast you can push this sled, right? So then I had some of the boys working on plyometrics, which I've never had them do box jumps up until this point, but I've made sure that their legs are strong, right? So it's good old-fashioned like Daniel Son of Miyagi, right? Like we're going to show the manifestation, right?
Yeah.
We're going to show what you can do based on the training that we've been doing. I had these kids get to where they were doing a 30-inch vertical.
Oh, shit.
And most of these kids never even jumped before.
It's just because they're trained.
Because they're trained to do that, right? So if you're 130 pounds and you can squat 315, well, guess what? You can jump.
Yeah, you can jump.
Right? They're the same mechanics.
Okay.
Right?
So it goes back to, like you said, the foundation, the basics. Before I can jump. That's your ego telling you can dunk that shit. Yeah. But like, if you know damn well exactly. Last time you jumped, if it hurt you or how high you got.
I try to give them that look like,
don't do it.
So
don't do it.
Would you go rob a bank with your gas on E?
Yeah, you would not.
Like you're not gonna get too far there, killer.
So then you get a lot of people showing up that
they're just not accomplishing their goals, right? Like that's why they come. It's because for what reason or another, they see something we do or somebody we've helped, but it all boils down to good old fashioned sales, right?
Yeah.
The basis of sales. Can I accomplish my goals with you? Right? And that's really what it boils down to, right? Some people have real goals. And I feel like a lot of people that don't hire guys like me, they don't have real goals, man. They just want to look cool on the gram.
Just
I tell people all the time, like, I'll chime in on posts. Let's put it to the test.
Yeah, let's go on.
Right?
Reggie will come up under your comment section real quick, and he'll come up fast.
And then they'll be like, well, I can't afford you. I'll do it for free.
Yeah, just
come.
Choosing confidence. So this is where I'm going to go. The next question is, someone like me who's started going back to the gym, my goal was to get there. That was the hardest part. So I got there by doing the sauna first. Mm-hmm. The more and more I went, I just always kept looking to the left and right, and I'd walk by everybody working out, and eventually it worked. I wanted to work out. Now I've been pretty consistent, but it was tough for me to go from one gym to another one because I knew this one was like, a bunch of kids there, a lot of crunch. It was just fucking I couldn't do shit. Yeah. And so then I go over to here, but then I'm like, okay, now I have to get more confidence to figure out, not to figure out, but it's just like, are people around me? Am I doing it right? Which stops me from going to a training facility because of the level of confidence I don't have there. Now I'm going to go up to guys who are training athletes and all this stuff just to tell them I want to train better. Mm-hmm. So how do you approach someone that that wants to do it, just doesn't have the confidence, or I guess
I think sometimes, man, like kind of like when we were talking yesterday, right? It was Sunday, so we're all talking about the Lord a little bit.
Yeah.
A scripture nobody ever wants to say is, pride is before the fall, right? So a lot of people, they have issues coming to us because they're prideful,
that's
right? But they forget that the foundation of fitness is typically me against myself, right? But unfortunately, it's like social media is just convoluted all of this. So people feel like they have to take a picture or show lifting weights, and they don't realize is that it's all about your audience, right? So, like, you can post some nonsense because you feel like your audience doesn't know better, but then if you get a professional or somebody who trains professionals to watch what you're doing, they're going to just question, like, what are you doing, man?
Okay.
And some people will naturally defend themselves. What exactly? What certification or what have you done in your past to substantiate your statement? Because I can say, I'm a pro PTA trainer, right? I'm a director for the pro PTA, and I'm an IFBB instructor. I have certifications, right? I have nutritional certifications, right? Meaning, like, I had to take a class and then take a test that says, you know what you're saying, you know what you're talking about, right? And you had somebody grade you. But a lot of people formulate opinions without any piece of paper. You know what I mean? So with that being said, if a professional asks you, hey, man, what are you doing? It typically means you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. But take that as like humble, right? I mean, like,
right? It all boils down to humility, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like, we could ignore it. I mean, I probably ignore 90%, even though, like, if I know someone personally, they feel like, if I know a group of people, everyone's like, oh, he's always harassing us, right? That's because you're a small group of people, right? But I see a lot of nonsense. People send me your videos. Look at this guy. Look what he's doing. Look at that. Ha, ha, ha. And I'm not here to make a mockery of anything. Like, I want to see everyone do better.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when I developed my brand, Clean Nation, right? Pure, unadulterated group of people. So my goal was to help people do better, right? We've all been in a state where, we need help.
Yeah.
I have some of the best people in the world at this that are my friends. And when they call me or they reply to a text or a message, I stop what I'm doing. I don't care what I'm doing because I respect them. And then you have people that I try to help someone, and I don't deal with like a lot of issues, right? People usually respect what I said to them because they see what I've done. But what always leaves me flabbergasted is like why people don't want to do better if they're taking the time to share this on social media, right? Like, so it's like if we're talking about real estate or whatever, like they want everyone to take them serious when they're posting about real estate, but I guess we can, not to get off topic, right?
Yeah.
But we all know I'm a chef, right? So
yeah.
If I clown somebody's food, they're like, hey, that's me. And I was like, I'm just telling you, it looks terrible.
Because you do it.
This is what I do.
This is what you do.
Yeah, I can give you some pointers on how to make it look better, right? I throw stuff together just for fun, you know what I mean? Like I baked some banana cake last night, and it's like, and I'll show the steps and then I'll show the final product. And some people just don't have the skill set to be good at certain these things,
No,
right?
no, no.
And so, like, to me, if you can't be good at putting together food, which everyone loves to eat, what makes you think you can be good at these other things, you know?
All right, all right. Okay, so you said the brand is Clean Nation. So you're a high ticket. You guys are pretty expensive for the training. Not even expensive, is you're high ticket. They're going to pay
Well,
you on the higher end because of what the results that they get, the training that you do. It's not just a gym. People aren't going there for $20 a month like Planet Fitness.
well, I tell you what's funny, man. And I stay in this town for a reason, right? Like, all my colleagues that do this part of what I do, they're like, dude, why are you still in Quartzhill? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you could come here, come there, and literally get rich. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they know I'm a very humble person, so I'll never say I'm the best at this, right? But I would say cumulatively, there's very few people that do what I do. Cumulatively,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's dealing with muscle, nutrition, training, so on and so forth, there's very few people in the country that are cumulatively doing what I'm doing, right? But I'm here because I was a 15-year-old kid that rode the bus on the AVTA trying to figure out how to get strong.
Okay.
Right? I trained at Family Fitness off of Can 10th Street. You know, I lived in East Palmdale. I would take the bus all the way over there.
Shit. Okay.
Right? So
That's 2 buses, by the way, because I used to take a bus from 40th Street East to K and 10th, and that's 2 buses, and you have to wait at the
take one bus to the
Lancaster one, yeah, and then wait like an hour just for the thing. Yeah.
mall. Exactly.
Oh man, you won't even meet too many people that ride the bus now.
No. And,
Parents are too scared.
I was having a conversation with one of the agents yesterday talking about that. Like, not to get off topic, but the real estate market is going to get interesting, the housing market. And a lot of people will let their luxuries dictate their future. No one's going to say, you know what, I need to keep my house. I can pack a lunch and get on the bus to go to work.
Yeah,
And get rid of my car, get rid of the insurance, stop eating out, no more Starbucks. No one's going to have that conversation. They're just going to, the first thing they're going to say, let's let the house go.
Yeah, they'll let the house go as long as they got the car, and yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that? Just do you think is it because of just being raised that way, or is it more of we don't know better? Or
I would say I would always
Pride.
start with pride, right?
Pride.
We can say pride, a little bit of ignorance, good old fashioned trying to keep up with the Joneses.
it's pride. It goes back
Right?
to it's used that.
I mean, do we say the love of money, right?
Yeah, especially like again, like you said earlier, social media. I'm not going to tell everybody that I lost everything when the guy younger than me lives up the street, has everything.
Yeah. So it all boils down to pride, man. Like, and that's what's I would say, in this genre of life, like what's made people be in financial ruin, because the salesman is capitalizing on people's luxuries, right?
Yeah.
My first car that I bought was a base model Honda Civic, no AC and crank windows. They don't even make cars like that anymore,
you
bro.
gotta be cranked.
Nobody.
So all the
I bought that car from Lancaster Honda, right? So I'll say that twice. Lancaster
That's a
Honda.
Honda.
110 degrees in the summer. Nobody's buying no car with crank windows and no AC.
unless you break that thing, man. Like, oh man.
Yeah. Every now and again, I'm in the car with my children, right? And we have some nice vehicles now. AC seats, and
That is crazy.
And I try to tell them, like, my first 2 children. I remember one of my daughters, she was in the back seat, and she was like, "Dad, there's sweat on my nose." Like, we literally roll around dying in these cars, And the funny part is that I bought my first house before I bought a new car.
But see, that's how it should be, right? Because you put you prioritize what you wanted first. You can have an older car or take the bus, but house,
Get a ride
man.
to work, commute.
Yeah, most of the time, yeah. Honestly, most of the time you find out the employee works or lives next to you.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, I'll swoop you up real quick. Cool.
Yeah, like even for me now, like if I hear, let's just use Northrop, right? If I hear like 2 people on the same shift in Northrop and they live in the same neighborhood, I'm like, do you guys carpool?
Why don't you guys carpool?
Like,
Why would I
no.
do that? I want my own space. What, to pick your nose?
Yeah, weren't you the same dude complaining about gas prices online? Like, I saw your post. You said gas prices are too high. What are you doing about it?
Yeah, man.
Right?
Okay, so you guys, how many trainers? Is it just you?
No, I have 4 trainers. Right?
trainers?
Like, so It's funny, man, to have such a hardcore gym. We train like 80% women. So I made sure
Oh, and
that,
I'm over here like we've been telling you all about the men. How are the men coming in? It's mainly you have a lot of women. It's
yeah,
it's because women usually know what they want first. I feel
yeah,
like men
and
are
it's important to them, right?
yeah.
Whether we talk about different things that women do for themselves, right? We didn't get into all that, right? But they're spending the money. We're not. I mean, most dudes are walking around with holes in their underwear, you know?
Yeah, but they'll buy the stupid exterior stuff. I feel like instead of like, well, if I buy this, it makes me look cooler, even though if I'm not like feeling that good. Instead of using the money to the training, where the woman wants to have everything to feel good. That's why they always go to
Yeah,
fitness, and men are like go to cars and watches.
and then they'll hit a wall, right? A woman will go, whether they want to go their makeup route, their hair right, this and that, clothes. But then it'll get to a point to where like, how do I look in this outfit? Right? And then it's like, well, I tried this and I tried that. That isn't gonna work. And then usually they'll have that friend that actually eats a lot and lifts weights, and they're like, she looks great in her clothes.
Yep, there
And
it
that's what
is.
starts it.
Okay.
But then in the men, they're just trying to figure out how to impress the women. But I think that we just kind of got stupid, man. Like we got away from barbaric things, right? Like, and I think that's where we've lost track. Nobody's chopping down trees anymore. Like nobody's hunting down animals. Nobody's fighting each other for fun, right?
And if you did do that, you have a louder group of people yelling at you or making you feel bad.
Uh-huh.
I have people close to me who unfollowed me and stuff and they brought it up, the work of, well, not everybody needs to work like that. I was like, don't fucking follow me then. Excuse my language, but I mean, I'm like, yo, like it's that. How could we be so passionate about what we do, whether it's fighting, whether it's sport, whatever it is, that something like that happens?
It's crazy, man. Like I think there was a fight last weekend. Like I don't really watch that kind of stuff, but I saw a lot of posts, and it's crazy to me that a man will comment about another man athleticism, right? Like, oh, he wasn't fighting right. And I don't know if like somebody was like a mixed martial art guy that was trying to box or whatever it was. And there was a lot of comments, man, from men that would get knocked the hell
And that
out.
don't even fight, never been
Like,
punched.
bro,
My brother is one of them. I love my brother, but he is so quick. Oh, this, that. And I'm like, dude, I know for a fact, you know for a fact what I've done, what I've gone through, and I know for a fact you've never been punched, but it's so quick and so easy. But oh, never let that happen. Oh, never.
yeah,
Because I'm pretty sure this entire life you let a lot of shit happen. That's why you never did that. It takes a lot to lose yourself and hit someone and kind of do that shit. Because sometimes no going back to that. Like,
yeah. And it's funny, like the guys that I train, the ones that train the hardest, are the ex like street fighters,
see, yeah.
right? Because they're learning that they can throw a better punch when they're stronger, right?
When they're
But
smarter, when they're thinking straight and more strategic, and
yeah, dude, I tell people all the time, like, you probably couldn't even defend yourself, man. Like I'll make a joke, like people, I don't need to do this, I don't need to do that. I'd be like, let me just hold on to your wrist for 30 seconds and see how manly you feel.
just leave me alone. They're like, can you actually knock my hand out? Go like this. Leave
Let me
alone.
grab your wrist and see if you can free yourself from my grasp. And granted, I have a different type of grip strength, right? Because of the different things that I do. But I ask that question all the time. Could you defend yourself, right? Forget about like wanting to look a certain way or be like super strong. If you got punched in the mouth, like, could you handle it?
Yeah, can you get back up and handle your shit, or are you going to just go cry about it or try to, yeah?
Yeah, or like I always say, death by broing, right? Like if I make a joke, I don't go out, I don't drink, I don't party, right? What I always said, like if I went out and I was aggressive with somebody, are they gonna bro me to death?
Yeah.
Come on, bro, don't do that, bro.
Nah,
Be nice,
bro. Come on, bro. Yeah. Or yeah. Yeah. Oh, I never thought
Good
about
old
that.
fashioned death by broing,
Bro, come on, bro.
Yeah.
So that right there, I feel like we are. I listen to this stuff, but then again, I have other people around me, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's too masculine." Honestly, that's really what they say, but it's not. Even my own father again has said, "Oh, that's not why." It's like, why not? Why? Just because we gotten a little bit comfortable, you're not going there to go get the six pack abs. I'm going to build habits. Those habits are going to lead into something. It's the same thing. Oh, why are you going to work for money? Well, the more money is going to help your ass when you get sick. My brother, when he gets sick, someone's going to get sick. It's my wife. Someone is, and you know what's not going to happen? Oh well, the doctor this, the doctor that. We see it all the time. Did you take it to the best doctor? No, you didn't take your mom to the best doctor. You guys blamed everything on the doctor instead of doing everything you were supposed to do. Okay, second opinion, go, I can't afford it, insurance. Those are all things because you didn't go out and do it. Why? Because someone's saying, oh, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't act that way. Men don't act like that.
Yeah, so
But we're training for our own personal, I feel like our own lives to be our own champions in case.
and everything you're saying falls back on
Foundation.
right? But let's just switch gears here, right? Let's just not talk about, let's say, kinesiology, right?
Okay.
Like lifting weights. We'll just categorize that under kinesiology. Let's talk about physiology, right? Let's talk about cells in the body, right? People are dying from diabetes, man, right? I struggled when I let my career take over. That's the first thing I was having issues with, right? Because like I was able to maintain my physique because I was training hard. But when I stopped training hard and kept eating the same, too much sugar, right? So here's the deal, right? Glycogen converts to glucose converts to glycogen. Glycogen is stored in the muscle and in the liver.
Okay.
People have diabetes because they do not have enough muscle. Plain and simple.
So, and it's going all straight to the liver, which eventually.
And so basically, when they have no storage, that's why it's in the blood. That's why they have high high glucose levels.
Okay.
Right? A1C, fasted glucose, is because there's no storage for it to go. It's floating around in the blood, right? So then the toxicity levels get high, so their body accumulates more body fat to try to store it to get out of the blood system. So that's what happens with that, right? But then people with diabetes start having kidney issues, right? Because all the excess retention of water and so on and so forth starts messing with your kidneys, right? Messing with your kidneys, messing with your eyes, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, like, could a lot of this been avoided if somebody had a regular gym regimen, right?
Yeah, because of the habits of their eating and stuff like that. It could have been like, well, I'm not really that, but it's because you don't have the muscle mass or anything, and it's
Correct.
just, yeah.
And you're not burning the calories.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
But
It's a little, like you said, but it's, what would a small routine, weekly routine or daily routine of exercise? That's why they have it in the school system to get the kids up and going, but we still send our kids
because at the end of the
Pop-Tarts and
day,
shit.
carbs taste good, right?
They're bombed. Right?
Right.
Man, that's all I eat. Bean burritos and wet
Right.
burritos.
Right? Like, what do I always post on your stuff? More protein.
I know, yeah. He's like, more protein, bro. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
let's
all
get more
carbs.
protein, right?
Yeah.
But then what did I also say, right? When you made the post about McDonald's and other things like that, right? Like you
Make
start
sure you do this. And
Yeah,
do
like,
that
you wanna
instead
eat
of just
McDonald's,
like,
man?
No,
Cool.
don't do it.
Eat McDonald's. Eat McDonald's after you squat, or you have a heavy training session. Go get your McDonald's in, right? If that's what you want, right? At the end of the day, what people forget about is developing a proper catalyst, right? And once you have a catalyst, that's what really keeps the checks and balances, right? Like sometimes, like, right? Like, I'm not your typical, like, skinny 24-hour fitness trainer, right? But I'm a businessman that, just tries to stay in shape, I've been married for 23 years. I got 5 children. Like, I can really embrace the dad bod, you know what I mean? But I'd be damned if my sons are going to look at me like they're going to whoop my ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
People are still going to know that you mean what you mean, regardless.
Exactly.
And they're going to know that by your presence and, again, by your brand.
And what businessman really wants to hire that dude that they could never model after, right? Like, you're not gonna have the discipline to starve yourself and look like this dude.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, don't you want to learn something from the guy who lives the same life as you, right? That's kind of like what my whole point is. Like, every now and then you get well, you don't look like so-and-so. Like, and I don't want to look like so-and-so, you know what I mean?
But to
Like,
have everything, and if you want to look like that, I'll get you to that.
I can
But
help you get
personally
there.
don't
Like,
want
I
to.
have different goals, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I like to fill out this 4X shirt. I don't know. You know
Yeah,
what I
but you also bench press your wife. So
Yeah,
I've seen
exactly.
that video,
Right?
Sam. I'm going to show you it too. But that's what I mean. Everyone has the different goals. Like, if you want to, I always say, eat like a rabbit and then have like the little 8-pack and look like a fucking avatar or something like that. Like, by all means, you'll get them there, but don't mistake, I guess, what you do for your knowledge and your profession.
One of my buddies, so for a while there, I had a good buddy of mine who was a marathon runner, and I started like, let me try something different. Right? I started running a little while, and he would tease me because he'd be like, man, you're all big and strong, but you can't run long distance for shit, right? And I was kind of telling one of my buddies that I used to play football with, that he was heckling me, and he says, I never seen a rhino trying to climb a tree.
Yeah, he just knocks them all
Right?
over and stuff.
He's like, we're all different animals in the jungle.
I love that. I love
Right.
that. So, and it goes back to, again, business, fitness, whatever you're trying to do, we're all different animals trying to do the same thing or trying to do that. So,
And at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. We're not here to help you do what we do. Here to help you better at what you want to do.
okay. So, what would you say to a person, man or woman, who's on the fence of taking that investment into bettering themselves? If they're thinking it's just about lifting weights, it's more than that.
Well, what I try to tell a lot of people is nobody can dictate what your heart of hearts says, right? Like I always make a joke when people, like when my clients say, "Can I have a cheat meal? Can I have this?" I'd be like, "Sit in front of the mirror naked and eat it, and you tell me if you want it." And I tell that joke because only you know how you feel when you're naked.
Yeah.
Right? Only you know. You can lie to all of us, right? And we can come to an assumption about how you should feel. But that's the end of the day, right? But in a world of, you know, a motivational speaker, this, that, or another, why is it that, like, it seems like in this particular genre, people care about their body composition the least, right? If we're making the most money right now, right, even in a recession, right, people are like, Fed's low the rates, but as far as they're concerned, you guys are making money. Whether you're spending it right, that's your business.
Yeah, it's
But if the federal government is saying, you guys are doing fine,
and you guys are doing fine, you're just spending it.
how are you allocating your funds? Right?
Yeah.
But that being said, I usually encourage people to come in for a few mesocycles, where those are like 90-day periods. And who knows if this 90-day period helps you learn something about yourself that you didn't know. Like we're all headed to the grave, man. You know what I mean? Like, do you really want to know what it's like to spend your whole life and not be strong,
Yeah.
Not to be dedicated? Because at the end of the day, like this particular style of training requires discipline. And why is it that if everyone wants to be disciplined in every other avenue of their life, right? Every other facet of their life, like every business class that everyone used to go to, they used to talk about a pie chart and making sure that your pie chart was balanced, right? But then you get people that boast about this, boast about that, but they rarely embrace a professional's professional. And what I mean by that is like, if you're making all this money, how come you don't have a professional helping you with everything?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like people are going to pay for, get their hair cut by the best barber, right? There's these guys that are charging crazy amounts of money for a fade, man.
Yeah, we just have one. It's $40.
Right?
$40 for a
Crazy,
fade.
man. And I get my hair cut every week. I mean, I pay, less than, I think I pay 25-ish. I get my hair cut every week. But let's just think about that, right? So if I was paying 40, bro, that's $15 a cut. That's like every other cut free. Mm-hmm. But some people, like once they feel like they have status, that don't matter, right?
Yeah.
They're paying for services, for service that. They're having shit put in their coffee that costs $7, $8. I drink black coffee, man. You know what I mean?
I drink my creamer from home. Yeah, I buy
Yeah,
it.
like every now and again, I'll put some heavy cream in it, but I like it to taste nasty because I feel like it's efficient. I feel like if I drink something that tastes good,
You
like
sit back and now
yeah,
you're like,
I don't put my pinky up. What I mean? I like to eat my food prep when it's a little cold, right? To remind me, right? I watch a lot of Western movies and like military movies. These dudes don't have microwaves, bro. No. But you know what? They knew when they ran out of fuel, they needed to eat.
yeah.
So sometimes I like to live with a little bit of that. I like my rice to be a little bit cold sometimes, or I'll cook with with food that it's okay to eat at room temperature,
There you go.
Like, all right, so like I'm not gonna. No one wants to eat cold rice, but it's just an example, right? But I feel like for some reason, like people want to pay to have their nails done, their feet done, their car service, their cars washed, their lawns cut, their pool service, and blah 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 blah. Why is it that hiring a professional trainer is the last on the list?
Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, no, that's the thing that's going to keep you going.
Here's
That's
the
your
deal,
gas.
right? Let's say this. If you had the best looking body, you could probably get away with not getting your hair cut.
Yeah.
You could probably be dusty,
And they'll
maybe
be
not
like-
even brush your teeth. But if you're jacked, no one cares. Like that dude didn't brush his teeth. I don't care, man. Look at that dude's pecs.
It's like the other
Right?
things they do to hide their actual confidence. Well, I need this, I need that, I need people to look at me, I need this. Because when you walk in the room, they don't look.
Yeah, like
Unless
one
you
of my
have that.
buddies, he does like coaching, right? And they're like leaner, thin guys. And I said, "Is this a competition of the tightest shirt?" Like I was just teasing, right? But like everyone's got different things, right? But like some of these guys, they're embracing like I work out a little bit, but I just starve myself, so I don't have to work out as hard, right? But the point that I'm making is that people need to hire somebody. I would think that like once you financially, in my mind, everyone that could afford a trainer hires a trainer the minute they can afford one.
Yes.
Right? Dude, I have spent so much money learning the things that I know. I don't care if I ran up a credit card. You know what I mean? You rarely hear somebody like, I want to train, I need to build this body I've never had. I'll put it on a credit card. But they'll go to Maui on a credit card.
Real quick, they're going to debt with it. It's because
Real quick, right?
It's the difference of I have to do the work.
Dude, like
that work, and it's not.
So this morning, literally, as it was before I got dressed, I seen somebody going on vacation, and I don't remember the last time somebody told me, "Hey, man, I'm going to Mexico in 6 months. I got to tighten this up." They just go as they are. They just go. But you know what? What you don't see them on the beach.
Confident.
You see the sea turtle. You see the selfie. Here up.
And that's crazy because their families there, their kids are watching,
looking at them,
and you can't even see dad be confident in the photo because I don't like the way I look, but I'll show everything else. I don't want to get to that part of my life.
To circle back about me speaking at Career Day, these kids were talking so bad about their parents in letters, bro. I'll share some letters with you.
They'll go quick.
Thank you for talking about nutrition, basically, because my dad looks like trash. Yeah. He needs a blah, 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 and da, da, da. I think it's cool that you lift weights and you have your kids lift weights because blah, 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 right? But you want, well, they used to always say, ask a kid, he'll tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, if we're trying to make all this money as professionals, like, what habits are we teaching our children?
Are we teaching
overindulgence?
Yeah.
My kids, when we first built our pool, my boys tried to get in the pool with a T-shirt on. I said, check this out, killer. You take that damn shirt off. I mean, if you don't like the way you look, you better rethink your food choices.
Because it goes back to the foundation.
Yeah, and you tell your friends, no one's coming to my house and getting in the pool with a shirt on.
If you don't like it, come on, man.
Yep.
Let's go. We're going to do something about it or get some confidence.
Maybe you didn't need 2 scoops of ice cream with that cake.
Yeah. I love my cake. Well, I had to take off your shirt and own that.
My boys' body composition has changed so much since we got the pool and that rule's in place.
But those are forming habits to take along in your business, in your health, in everything, all aspects of your life. Because again, you have your wealth, your health, your faith. All of them play a big part. And I started going to these two, but then the health is where. So like the reason why I have been going consistently for the past 60 days is for the fact, not because like, oh, I'm just tired. No, it's because I was missing something. I was like, the last thing I need to get my chain or my path was I got to start showing up, caring about like my body, my health, not my body, but showing up because I feel better, dude. Like I legit, I'm not anything. I still struggle with the normal stuff, the eating and stuff like that. But now I know that I went there, I drank a full 30 ounce of water. I prayed a bit and then I got out, had my breakfast because it's like a ritual right afterwards. Protein drink. I know that morning stacked the win rather than jumping to business. 2 o'clock. Oh, I forgot to eat. Mm-hmm. But I already know by 2 o'clock, I'm good. I have my protein. I have my snacks already. I went to the gym. I drank my water. Mm-hmm. I'm good. It's no longer that. So I have a long ways to go. But I feel like for anything that they're starting, go to the foundation of maybe just going to the gym. For one little thing there just to start it.
And there literally could be small things to help when dealing with a professional, right? That's what you go to, right? To kind of fine tune.
Yes.
Right? And to me, those are the best people to train the guys that are in decent shape, but I need a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that, or, like while we're sitting here, I had a friend of mine, fitness person, was asking me about supplements, especially us that are getting over 40, like if you're not eating enough, but.
Is that something you do recommend, though? Supplements over 40?
Absolutely. I mean, I recommend supplements in general, right? But I don't recommend replacing.
Supplements because, oh, well, I'm not using.
I'm not getting enough, right?
Okay, so do what you're doing, but then take your supplements to make sure.
So
Okay.
think about the word dissection of supplement, right? We're not replacing. It means like if I need to be eating 200 grams of protein a day, but I can only get 150, then you'll supplement the other 50.
Ah, see, I had it always, okay, oh, we're doing this and this, but that's always just
That's
having your
replacing.
back.
That's replacing, right?
Okay.
Like if my food, if I'm not getting enough vitamin C or vitamin D or calcium or magnesium or potassium through my diet, then I need to supplement, right? But see, and that's where, actually sitting and consulting with nutritionists, right? Like for us, we try to make sure we get enough potassium in every day because that's big, right? Water retention, high blood pressure, so on and so forth. So I try to build like that meal I ate, earlier. It was mainly red beans with it was like a chili base.
Okay.
But the main reason for that is because the red meat and the red beans have a lot of potassium in them.
Okay.
So then my next meal will be like probably some red meat or some chicken and yams. Again, right? So I try to get about 4,000 or 5,000 milligrams of potassium in a day. You don't want to take that many potassium pills because each potassium pill only has 99 milligrams. That's a lot of pills.
And then you're taking a lot of pills. And
Correct.
Then you're
so the goal is like, well, based on what I know I can eat, I can get 4,200 milligrams of potassium. And if my goal is 4,700, then I need to take 500 milligrams of supplementation.
Okay.
Right? So that's the key, is just filling the void.
Just has your back just in case.
Correct. Just because you have a certain goal, right?
Yeah. You want to make sure you always hit that goal.
And people, some people get into macronutrients, food, right? Carbohydrates, protein, fats. But very few people actually get into the micronutrients, the minerals and things like that, And those are very important, Make sure you have enough calcium because it's hard to have a good muscle contraction without calcium. Magnesium needs to relax, sodium for energy.
And there's so much. This is like opening a door. So pay attention, educate yourself, but start from the foundation, start from the basics. But that's pretty cool. Okay, so Reggie, where can they find you online, on social media? How can they find you?
I run two different pages. Clean Nation is my primary page that I use. And then we have an Iron Jungle page, But I would say, either one. They're both private, so, you can send us a message if you want to reach out, We're a little selective about who we work with. So I would say it's good to kind of send a thesis statement about why you want us to help us and what your goals are. That's typically who we get a lot of inquiries. We stay pretty busy, but usually the stuff that I respond to is like whoever draws my attention,
Which is good because, again, you're not here to play any games.
I am not, like last client sent me an email, probably like 7 paragraphs, caught my attention.
There you go. You're like, okay, hold on. He's going to invest all his time in writing this. Let me hear him out. Let me see what it's about.
The stuff I ignore is like, hey, man, how much is the rate?
I'm going to say, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your time, my man, and I think we learned a lot. Some fire content. But we're all set, you guys. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.